Yes, Hotep, Aguava, bless up, and greetings. Welcome, Black, to the recovery room of Racism Not Anonymous with me, Sis Abana, who is a victim of racism, white supreme lunacy, and I am a recovering African, an African who is in the process of recovering and reclaiming my true cultural self. This is Maccabee coming in with me, offering these greetings and welcome to my world. I am Abana. I am also true to the cause of African liberation via unification, utilizing the tool of healthy and effective communication. Yes, and for me, the reggae music certainly provides one of those tools to support cultural reclamation or reclaiming of my true culture, cultural story and heritage. And also represents a form of healthy and effective communication. I am coming to you live and in person as we intended to do here at Africa Live or there at africalive.com. Give it a check. And it is intentional because coming to you live and in person supports clarity in the communication when you can see and hear me at the same time. And at the same time, when I come live and in person, I have to come with, black colored lenses. And, as, was it Parliament Funkadelic and them said, to put on my sunglasses so you can see what you ain't looking at. And when I put on the black lenses and view this world via black-colored versus those rose-colored lenses, black-colored lenses for me, and that supports me in seeing, myself and the blackness, and therefore it supports me with seeing you clearer. Woo! What has prompted me and inspired me to share now and in this way, and we thank the ancestors and the Creator for the ingenuity and creativity that was required to do a couple of things I had been wanting to do. And one was a problem area, I couldn't figure out how to fix it, and the other was sort of a little challenge because I didn't know how to do it. And it's this, I'll share this and then I'll get on to what inspired me to come to you live and to share what it was I want to share. One of the things I've struggled with making videos and I've been aware of is the lighting and working to get the lighting, sufficient. And that is a challenge for me. The lighting such that it is cool, yet because I have mirrors right behind me, it would always provide the glare, and I couldn't figure out how to be able to use the light that I need and reduce the glare. Another issue and problem or that I've had, because it's something that I've been wanting to do, and that was to share and talk and share myself and talk and teach from my genogram. This is hanging behind me that is now covering the mirror is a genogram. And this red board that I just kind of zoomed up in on a bit that circle right there and that red spot, that represents me, my position in the family on the sibling level. That's what the red board is. There are two boards up above it, one to the right and one to the left, and maybe I should have, no, they're fine. That represents my father, the yellow, and his family, and my, family on that side, and this represents my mother's side, the black board. There are also two more boards, actually, that goes along with this project that I did, what was it, the first year in the PhD program, I believe it was? I believe it was my first year in one of the courses that I had, that we had to do, maybe the first or second year, I don't know, but sometime in there, in my PhD program, and we had this project to do, and certainly I was working on a PhD in the arena or field of couple and family therapy. So I am, trained and educated in family systems theory, but family therapy in particular, based on systems theory in general, and that systems theory is an area, of study that extends certainly beyond the boundaries of the family and the family system. Instead, it looks at the dynamics of systems in and of themselves, what it is and how they work, and how they influence and inform and impact upon, others and the members of the society, the community, and the families, individuals, families, and groups, in a nutshell. And so we had this project to do, and this was, the outcome of my project. There, like I said, two more boards, and I was able to trace my family story and roots on my father's side back to the the first African or ancestor who was actually brought from the continent to, the Americas, to the West. And he was brought in originally into Barbados. And that ancestor from Barbados, at some point, the line was sent to Martinsville, Virginia, which is where the Hairstons and my family people are from. And so that did trace back like up 7 or 8 generations, to that original ancestor who came in first to Barbados. On my mother's side, I was able to trace back also not to actually the ancestor who came here as a slave, but about 5 or 6 generations back as well. And there are many stories that I learned, and the reason to do these is really to look for patterns of behaviors, or events, patterns. In everything, there are patterns, right? And so you use a genogram to identify your family's patterns, which patterns have been helpful and what patterns have been harmful, how have they seemingly been transmitted, how are they transmitted, and begin to really look at that and as a way to supporting, facilitating, and making change. And that same concept and notion certainly applies not just on individual family levels and for your individual self and your individual family, but certainly this the same process and dynamic that we want to go through on a communal and broader global societal level. So that solved the 2 problems, to hang the genogram there on the mirror so as to block the lighting and be able to have some clear lighting. So yay me! Creativity, ingenuity, yes to my ancestors, and to me in the spirit of we. Now, it is the reason that I am coming forward this evening and having received the inspiration or energy, yes, the necessary energy that would elevate the divinity that is me, Mama Earth. I did acknowledge that. And certainly comes from me, Mama Earth, other mothers of civilization, other sisters of African descent, who have been inspired and motivated to come on and come out here to talk about and to share my, experiences that with them. And those sisters would be, what prompted it this evening, a sister that goes by the name of Nefertiti KMB, and I can't pronounce that as a word. Sister Nefertiti Kim, and a sister queen, Timara Kintago, resurrected Kintago, and sister Cassandra, aka the Queen of Hearts, on Blog Talk Radio. These three, and this isn't that special, the Divine Trinity, and that is we, have surrounded and wrapped me in such love and loving energy in the course of this past week, that it's like I just have to come and share that with the world, and share that with you, and certainly give honor and credence and credit to those sisters for the love that they have extended me, for the thinking and behaving that they have demonstrated, that there's been a level of consistency that is just like, oh my gosh, Shay, to end this year in this way, for me, is it's really, how can I tell you how significant and important, how significant it is for me, spiritually speaking. Having begun this year in the fashion that it began, and as last year ended, this time, under direct attack by four sisters of African descent and a man, Big Daddy, on that plantation station that I was working. 5 of them who had actively gotten together, conspired to do me in on that job, and they were supported by all the folk there on the job with doing that. And it was an experience that was extremely painful, extremely sort of humiliating, that leaves me with a sense of shame that I'm still working to recover and, from, and as well as, at the same time, of course, showing me sort of where it hurts for us, the different points that it hurts, the different signs, the different symptoms, and how it shows up, it being a level of traumatic stress and the level of emotional, mental, and behavioral illness that we as a people have, incurred. And their behaviors was just, symptomatic. They're fully infected with this virus. And this time last year, was under direct attack with it, and working to live, survive, protect myself, defend as best that I could. And that was just in one area of my life last year, because it was also on the communal level, where relationships on the communal, the conscious community, and folks who profess to be actively interested in countering racism and practicing justice and African freedom and so forth, and they were also doing some shit that's like, what the wait a minute, can you, wait a minute, can you slow down, can we time out or something? And of course, unwilling and unable to engage in dialogue to problem solve. And then ultimately, the ultimate smack for me was on New Year's Eve, and the bringing in of the new year. And it's always said that the way we bring the new year in, what we're doing when the new year comes in, is what we're going to be doing for the rest of the year. Well, when the new year came in this 2011, I was spent with my biological family, and was treated in a way that left me feeling so humiliated, so devalued, and with a sense of rejection that was sort of just incredible. And so to have this year sort of ending on the note that, on the wave, you know, that is ending on, it to me, you know, to my three sisters, Nefertiti, Sister Cassandra, and Sister Timara, what you all do and have done in relationship with me just inspires me to, you know, like you say, my sister, continue to fight, to do more, and to continue, you know, this thing that we have to do to birth this baby that we have, and this baby being what, you know, our story, living it, being it, exposing it, living it, and loving it. You know, that's the mission, or you know, or something to that effect. So yeah, with that, I wanted to just thank you all for the opportunity, and see, as a result of, you know, my desire to click on and say this directly, and yeah, the sister going to be doing a project, positive building, so I could talk more about that, but I know this is probably already over 15 minutes, I think, so I better get ready to stop. But I wanted to say, you know, how this thing works in terms of this program of recovery, and they're working it. You may not be calling it that, but I see the same steps that you all have taken are steps that are consistent with practice of this program, Racism Not Anonymous. But because I wanted to and needed to click on and share with you, especially with Sister Nefertiti, gave me the ingenuity and the opportunity to create and come up with the concept and the notion to hang this genogram in this way. And then I do hope to continue to do share information, share videos, and, you know, talk and teach from that, as well as my other props and, you know, tools that I have for sharing and coming to you live and in person right here from the recovery room of Racism Not Anonymous. This is my bedroom, if you will. This is my safe space to support reculturation of my African spirit. It's just like anytime somebody get harmed physically, they take them to the hospital. That's the safety zone. And they get in the recovery room. When you had surgery, you stay in the recovery room. But this is the recovery room, so you will see, you know, a person in a sick bed. And if I throw up from time to time, or you hear something that seems like a, you know, bunch of shit, you're likely to find that here. And we also work to clean it up. So that's what it's all about, ultimately. So till next time, you know, thanks for listening. Peace.